Hello, my name is Chuck Forte, and I'm a senior partner architect here at Kamiwaza.ai. At Kamiwaza, we fundamentally believe in one thing, and that is that the enterprise is ready to deploy Gen AI today without the need of centralization, the need of moving your data, or the need of repatriating or fundamentally reprocessing and copying data back to central data stores. At Kamiwaza, we've invented essentially a new modality of compute for Gen AI, enabling and unlocking the inherent value of globally distributed data assets, whether structured, unstructured, semi-structured, or even human input. And we enable that through our product here called the Kamiwaza Engine. Here in the demo that we have today in our booth, we're actually demonstrating the deployment of our application, of our software. Our software we like to describe as an opinionated but loosely coupled stack made up of 155 different packages, where at least 150 of those packages can actually be modified and effectively wrapped in with whatever existing capability that an organization has. So if you as an enterprise have already gone down your AI journey and have started deploying things like vector databases or data meshes or cloud technologies, we can actually inherit all those inherent technologies as it currently lies within your global enterprise and deploy our stack on top of your existing infrastructure and enable a global mesh where at any point in the mesh, we're able to deploy any model as we're showing here in our stack, effectively going to a model catalog where we plug in directly with Hugging Face, essentially allowing an organization access to over 1.7 million different Gen AI models, deploying out the appropriate model and just in time, selecting the appropriate model, deploying at the appropriate time on whatever hardware platform of their choice. Today, we're partnered with Intel and demonstrating the ability to not only deploy models on Intel Gaudi 3 GPUs, but actually deploying models on Intel's 6th generation of Xeon processors and enabling net new modalities of compute and workloads, agentic workflows, such as batch processing across the entirety estate of an organization's existing Intel footprint. Here we're showing a backend of our product, which is a fast API backend. Anything that you can do in point and click actually has an API associated to it. And on top of API, we've also developed an MCP so that for people that are already well along their way of not only automating their infrastructures through remote process automation, robotic process automation, they can now leverage things like MCP and tie that into the intelligence of the LLMs to actually modify and direct and orchestrate infrastructure. What we do at Kamiwaza is beyond just model deployment and serving, is that we're also tying in this concept of the globally distributed data engine. What that allows you to do, essentially, aside from not only running the right model at the right time at the right place, we can now build these graphs of entities and ontologies and have omniscience around what data exists where across the distributed footprint of the enterprise, bubble that up and essentially create metadata of metadata, and use that metadata just in time at inference time to route requests to the right processes across the distributed enterprise. So now those features of my data, of where my data lives, what my data resources are, what my resources are from a compute perspective, CPU, GPU, NPU, whatever the request is, we can now tie in the data assets wherever they are across the world, structured, unstructured, semi-structured, even human input, and actually derive outcomes out of those data assets. What that means is no data lakes, no AI factories, no centralization, no copying. Everything runs real time, at the edge, distributed, in place, with dirty data.